Imagine living your life after 50 and feeling energized and excited about your future. Welcome to the Women in the Middle podcast, the podcast for women who are ready to figure out what they want and create the life they deserve. Here's your host and Master Certified Life Coach, Susie Rosenstein.
Hey there, today's episode is all about your perfume past and what it's meant to you. Let's go. Welcome back to the podcast Women in the Middle. I'm your host, Susie Rosenstein, your Master Certified Coach and Midlife Mentor, and I'm so glad to be here with you again. We are going to talk about midlife memories, your memories, and your perfume past. And we're going to have a lot of fun too, because I pulled together a small panel of 3 amazing midlife gals from the Women in the Middle Academy to talk about their experiences with scents, colognes, bath splashes, and perfume, all those things. And I know you're going to be able to relate to some, if not all, of what we're talking about. It's a fun romp into nostalgia, perfume, and what it's meant to us growing up. So you don't have to wear perfume on the regular to get a lot from this episode. As you'll see when we talk about it, it's much more broad than that. Now, just quick, I want to tell you a bit about an amazing fun opportunity for you if you know you're looking for more at this point in your life, including more happiness. I have something new and exciting to invite you to. It's called the Midlife Happiness Jumpstart Experience. It's perfect for you if you're ready to feel lighter, brighter, and basically more you. In this 14-day experience, you'll get tiny science-backed actions that help you boost your mind, shift your mindset, and rediscover what makes you happy. And it's fast. It's all in just 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's affordable and designed for busy midlife women over 50, just like you. And it's super easy. Your Midlife Happiness Jumpstart experience includes daily emails, a printable tracker, a private WhatsApp group, and a group celebration Zoom call. So if you're listening in time to catch the next group that starts on the first of the month, you can sign up right away. If not, just check my shop at www.susierosenstein.com and click on the Shop tab to see when you can join us in the next Midlife Happiness Jumpstart group experience. Can't wait to see you there. Okay, now let's dive in. My guests on the panel today are Crystal Sidaitis, Perry Gallagher, and Dawn Bender. They will share a bit more about themselves in the interview, so I won't bother with that now. They come from across the United States and have really interesting, meaningful, and fun memories about perfume and scents in their lives. Even if you don't wear perfume yourself, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter. I know you're going to relate to this fun conversation with some awesome midlife gals. I have a feeling you're going to feel like you're right there with us. So please enjoy. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Women in the Middle podcast.
Hey, Susie.
Hey, so great to be here.
So glad you're here. So we have a beautiful little panel gathered with us today. So today's topic is a little unique. Sometimes I walk around my house just going, what the heck am I going to talk about on the podcast? Looking for content. And one day, out of nowhere, I was just in my bedroom, gathering up my things for the day, ready to start. And I walked past my dresser and I saw the perfume bottles there. Now, I walk by them every day, but I thought, oh, there's one of my older bottles of perfume there. And I picked it up and I looked at it, and it was one that I wore back in junior high. And I had the idea. I wondered if anybody else had stuff kicking around, and what did perfume mean to us at that age, and all the other things that went along with it. So I had this idea, and I knew I wasn't the only one who would have some fond memories about wearing perfume or cologne or whatever it was from the drugstore way back in the day. I've heard that scents like perfume and all kinds of other things are referred to as nostalgia in a bottle sometimes, because it's known to be true that scents can actually help you connect with emotional memories. So I thought, ooh, this is going to be a great topic to talk about. So thank you guys so much for coming. Let's start with each of you introducing yourselves briefly and sharing a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you love to do in the world. And then we'll dive in. So Dawn, how about you start?
Hi, my name is Dawn, and I currently live in Arizona. I was born in New Jersey and even lived some time in Toronto, where I met Susie. I'm happy to be here. I'm a full-time real estate agent, and for fun, I love to work out, definitely be the fashionista and wear perfume.
Perfect. Okay, Crystal, how about you?
So I am Crystal. I am a pediatrician, and I work for a health insurance company in my home state of Illinois. I'm also a coach for neurodiverse physicians, and newly podcaster.
Amazing. Thank you. And Perry, how about you?
Hi, my name is Perry. I live in California. I am originally from Montana, but I've lived here for a good number of years now. I am a professor of English at a community college, and I'm on break right now.
How
So I'm
exciting.
loving summer, loving this California summer. I have to say that I do not wear perfume a lot now as an adult, but that's a deliberate choice because of my students. I don't want any allergy issues or any of that, but I do have a lot of nostalgia and a lot of memories of my early use of perfume. So thanks for having me.
Amazing. Okay. So let's start by talking about what we wore when we were kids or when you first remember wearing perfume. So for me, I found what I found on my dresser was Wild Musk by Coty. And I remember loving this. It was definitely junior high. And then when I got into high school, I started to wear, I don't know if it's Jovan or Jovan, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's white musk. And I didn't have any of this, but you may be able to hear that I'm holding a bottle. And I actually ordered one on Amazon to bring the memories back and just to get in the groove and get ready for this episode. So just you could just chime in, or maybe it'd be easier if I just mentioned your name and you can start. So Dawn, tell us what you were wearing back then.
Okay, so my first thought when you asked that question is obsession. I don't know if you all know it, but it was just a really cool shaped bottle, kind of like an egg, and it had this rusty brown top. And I would wear obsession, obviously for women, and kind of had a boyfriend like when I was in high school for many years, and he wore obsession for men. So that was like the most in perfume that I can remember back from 40 years ago.
And we were very influenced by what was in back then, for sure.
Yeah, we had magazines and we actually watched commercials because you didn't have a choice.
That's right. And Crystal, how about you?
So, I'll go back to my earliest memories of perfume. And it's a memory so I am of Latin origin. It's very common for Latin people to put perfume on their babies. It's more like a bath splash, but it's intrinsic to our culture. And there is a bath splash, it still exists. It's called Nanuko. And I don't have a memory of like my own self having a Nuko on, but I have a very deep connection to it so that if I were to pick up a child that was wearing Nanuko, it would sort of flood me with a very familiar feeling. That's the best way I can put it.
I love that. And I'm just thinking about so many things. It's already delicious when you pick up a baby and I don't know. Everybody listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. You just want to squeeze them and nuzzle them, and there is some kind of a scent. And for you, it's a little different than what it might be for me. What a beautiful, beautiful memory. I love that so much.
And what's
And
interesting is I asked my cousin about it, and she has a different scent. So even though we're in the same family, she told me like, "Oh, it's this other thing," and like I wore it, and my kids wore it, and that's so I thought that Nanuka was just like for everybody, but apparently it's different.
well, I'm glad that
Wow.
the conversation came up.
Wow, you just sparked something in me, but I think because I'm kind of mid-age here, I had to actually ask ChatGPT what it was called because I couldn't remember in a split second. I had to go to Nordstrom's to buy Mustela, Mustela for my baby. Once I washed him in this, I needed to smell it. Then I started washing my dog in it. It's very expensive to be doing this, but it just kind of made me think of that. Like, yeah. And then I had different, I had the normal baby wash, and we're talking about perfume, but lavender for nighttime and the regular smell for the morning, whatever Johnson's and Johnson's.
Mm,
That's so
it's
crazy.
so powerful. Perry, what about you?
Yeah, well, when you asked the question, the first thing that came up for me was Jean Naté. So
Oh,
Jean Naté, I know had a whole range of products at the time. I think they took their talcum powder off the market at a certain point, but what I remember the most is the after bath splash it was called. because I just mentioned I grew up in Montana, so it's very dry there. It's Rocky Mountain State. So I just have this vivid memory of, when I got my turn to take the shower, I was so indulgent to bring this after bath splash, and with all of the mist that was in the bathroom, because we didn't have to use a fan because it was so dry there. It was just like a little sauna with this citrus smell, and I still can smell that citrus smell, which, I did look it up too. And it was like, apparently in the 70s, the citrus was all the rage. So I do remember that part very clearly. So that was me. And then I asked my sister, and she said, oh, it was white shoulders for the win. So she remembers white shoulders. And then I also remember Baby Soft, which smells like baby powder. So
Oh,
that was
loves Baby
like,
Soft.
yeah, loves Baby Soft.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
So
was
those
so
are my
popular
three.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went through a Gina Tate. I think I went through a Gina Tate phase too, like
Yeah.
late elementary school.
Yep. Yep. It was
Yeah,
early
which would have been the
70s, I think.
70s.
Yep, exactly.
I remember it too. Now that you're mentioning it, it's coming back to me.
Hmm.
And it was a bath splash, but was it also a cologne of some sort?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I didn't have the opportunity to buy the full range because my parents were not really wanted me to do that. So I just got what I could afford, and that was the bath splash.
I'm kind of
Oh,
remembering a big powder puff, like the size of your hand, and it
Hmm.
would make a
Yeah.
big mess, right? My
Yeah,
grandmom had that,
exactly.
and I think I used to use hers after I would take a bath at her house.
Yeah.
it's
So,
funny you mentioned a powder puff. That is a great topic. And it came up I've been talking to a lot of people about this lately. So I was at a farmer's market recently and I brought it up to somebody I was chatting with there that I was thinking about doing an episode like this. And I said, do you have any memories of scent? And right away she told me about a powder puff in a special drawer in her bedroom that was from her mother's powder and perfume. And she kind of established this little dresser drawer that was just for sentimental for her mom's things. And every time she opened it, that powder puff and that smell, and sometimes it made her, really happy, and sometimes it made her sad. So she knew that if she was going to go near the drawer, she had to prepare herself. But it was from the powder puff. Do
Yeah.
people still have powder puffs? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
For
maybe just
perfume?
for their face. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Susie, on our recent coaching call, thanks to you and the group, it was amazing. I just had my mom's like celebration of life 1 year since her passing, and I didn't really
Mhm.
know how to handle that. And we came up with the idea of me wearing her favorite perfume. They no longer make it that I know of in the States. It's called Byzance, B-Y-Z or Z-A-N-C-E. And it's this blue bottle. So I have one that's a couple inches big, and then I have a little tiny mini one that I keep in a curio as a display in my room so I can see that. And wearing that on the day of her 1 year made me so happy. I put it on in the morning to go take a class at the gym. I showered after the gym, I put it back on, and then I even wore it another day because I was like, wow, but now I'm freaked out, like I don't want to use it up. I think this last bottle I found in Aruba many years ago. Like you'll find it in another country, but maybe not in the US.
I can
Wow.
totally relate to that. I have a box, like a keepsake box in my room. The box belonged to my grandmother, but inside of it is this very fancy container that was my grandfather's cologne.
Oh, nice.
And so, it's probably 90% evaporated, but still, my grandfather passed away in 1978.
Wow.
But still, I have that memory of him and that cologne. And I checked it the other day and you can still smell some of it. So it's important.
Wow.
That's
It,
beautiful. So I'm having a bit of a flashback now too. It's not a cologne or perfume scent, but my grandfather smoked cigars, and somehow I ended up with a cigar box. Did you all have cigar boxes growing up? And what I kept in there was stamps, but not the kind of stamps from a stamp collection, stamps from scrapbooking, like from stamps that you'd put ink on. And I had a collection of my stamp. Now there were stamps from stamp collecting in there originally, because my grandmother has stamp collection. So that's probably how I inherited the box. But I kept these other kinds of stamps in there for years until the lid fell off. And even as the lid fell off, because they were cardboard, I still kept it. And when I opened it, it still had a slight odor. And at the time, I didn't identify the odor as tobacco. It was very, very slight, and it wasn't offensive at all. It kind of reminded me of a musty scent, but I just loved it because I thought of my grandparents from New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
amazing. Scent is so, so powerful.
Speaking of offensive, did you all have a perfume like that made you crazy? Because I have to share, there was one called Red that
Mm.
if anybody had it on, it just repulsed me. I could sneeze. I felt like my throat was going to close. I want to say I was almost allergic to the smell of it. And I wore
Wow.
perfume every day since I
Is
was
that the
like
Taylor
10 years.
Swift one, or is this prior?
No,
This
this is Red a long time.
that's
We're
what I
talking in
thought.
the
Okay.
90s. Yeah. I don't know who made it, but it was called Red. And I could not wear it. I could not handle the smell of it.
Mm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Nobody else had a repulsive smell.
Now, who still wears perfume?
I do every day.
I do too, every day.
I got out of that habit. My dad has terrible, well, first my dad had terrible allergies. I can't believe my mom and I wore perfume as long as we did. And then kind of like what Perry said earlier, I mean, they sort of tell you when you're going into the hospital that you really shouldn't be wearing perfume because people are not feeling well and it can be overpowering. And so, but I actually found in my cabinet, my bathroom cabinet, which has moved with me, I don't know how many times, a little bottle of Ralph Lauren. That's
Mhm.
probably from like the 90s. I probably started when I moved out of my house. It wasn't seeing my dad as much. I probably started wearing it again, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't wear it at work, but it's my own little happy thing that I do for myself because it's actually called Happy. It's Clinique and it's happy. And I love the citrus still apparently because it's like an orange citrus
I know
smell. And I
that.
just
Yeah, I
love
know
it. It's
that
like
smell. Yeah.
it's the weekend and no one's gonna care. I'm gonna be happy and put on some happy.
It's true. We get so affected by it, but
Yeah.
I am weird. Like at night, like I remember like dating a guy where he would put like cologne on at like bedtime. Like, dude, like there's a time and a place, and like that's not the time. Like I would not do it after a shower at night to go like crawl in my bed. I don't even want deodorant on. So I don't know.
Well,
For me,
I think
there's a
people
time and a place.
probably associate it with being sexy or sensuous, or in my
Yes.
case, I definitely felt more feminine when I used it. And I was thinking a lot about it since I started to, want to talk about it a little bit because it brings up lots of memories. But I remember that's also the time that I was completely boy crazy. And I did start to think about, what would make me a little old, like feel older, feel a little more mature, feel a little bit more feminine. And I definitely had that thought. And I don't know, did that happen with you guys?
100%.
What I distinctly remember from like my high school age, and people have to know my mother to understand like that I have no idea how this came to be, but my mother started wearing cologne, like men's cologne. And I mean, this is when like polo was really in. And there was this other one I texted her to see if she would remember in this white bottle. I was wearing a men's cologne. And it was a little less like flowery. It was definitely more musty. And probably for, several years in high school, 2 or 3 years in high school, I wore men's cologne. No, I think I just thought like it was cool. It made me different. I have no idea.
Yeah, I can see that.
There are many colognes that are unisex. Like they're just made for male and female. And I don't know how that is, but there are a lot. I can't think of the one that was popular back in the day, but there was one.
Now,
Polo was
advertise.
really Polo, Dracar
Mm.
Noir.
Okay, Dracar
Uh,
Noir. My dad and my brother both wore it, and it was just like a scent for them. Like this day, I had to introduce my dad to like a different cologne, a Ralph Lauren, actually, in the red bottle, whatever that is. But he wore the same thing. Like him and his son wore the same scent, right? And the other thing that I was thinking about talking about guys, there was one called, I don't know how you say it, Joop, Joop. And when I
mhm,
was like a
yeah.
teenager, we would chase a boy down in a nightclub if he smelled like Joop. Like it was like a pheromone, chase that tail, like a dog in heat. I'm gonna see who smells. And we would literally sniff people until we found, oh, you're wearing Joop? And that would be like the person we'd want to dance with.
Oh my gosh, that's
Crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's a Jersey girl, little weird. But yeah, Jupe, that was the name.
I never smelled that one, but there was a smell that I loved, but it was a shampoo. And I remember in junior high, there was this one boy who washed his hair with this shampoo. And I just loved the smell of it so much. And I would comment on it. Oh my God, that perfume. I don't know if I was flirting. I actually don't know if I was flirting. I must have been flirting. But I loved the smell of this perfume so much. It smelled so, the shampoo, it just smelled so fresh. And I don't know. I still do notice soaps and shampoos. I do smell them. Do you notice that smell in other people?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have to say, since I've been invited to think about this, I've been wondering about how early we develop our preferences for scents. Like I keep talking about citrus, and I've my daughter has identified, oh, I'm what they call gourmand. And I think gourmand is it smells like food. So she smells like vanilla, she smells like chocolate, a very different line of scent. And I'm just wondering how far back does that go for me and for her? Because I do remember, since you guys were talking about babies, Crystal was. I for a while I was getting these really nice oils, and I was learning how to do baby massage to relax my baby. Turns out she wanted none of it, but I still had a good time smelling these wonderful, oils and such. I'm thinking, well, Jesus, that was one of them vanilla? I don't know.
Mm. Well, it definitely, I did look it up a little bit, spent a little time looking up on what perfume symbolizes overall. And some of the things we've been talking about are definitely on this list, like femininity, sensuality, memory, emotion, nostalgia, connections with people. And these scents, as we're talking about, a lot of us are reaching back in the way back machine because it really can bring someone back to a moment in time or a connection to a person. Like it really does have that much power, which is crazy when you think about how many things we forget these days. But that association is so strong.
Yeah, there's another perfume. I have a friend of 30 years, Rachel, and she wears Angel. She wears it 12 months out of the year. Okay. So, I mean, you hug her, she smells like Angel. Like, I have the bottle. It doesn't smell the same on me. It smells good, but I associate it with her. Literally, last week, I'm in a store and I go, it was like in Nordstrom Rack or something, looking for shoes. Which one of you ladies have Angel on? I like just asked the public. And she's like, I do. I'm like, I smell you. You just made me miss my friend. I said, thank you. I just kind of like, it just came out of my mouth. I just talk to strangers about who smells. They must think I'm crazy. But I have a really strong, like, I smell everything. I know when a baby, has a dirty diaper a few, whatever, feet away. But I ask in public out loud, who's wearing Angel?
That's
That's,
hilarious. Well, it
that's
gets good conversations going. Another thing that we touched on is self-expression, wanting to be different, Crystal, when you told that story. And I've heard also people kind of wanting to have a scent that identifies, that they really identify with, and it feels like self-expression to them. Has that happened to you? Did you feel that strongly about a perfume that you wanted to wear it all the time? You
Well,
kind of got me hooked on what is that? Uh,
Dolce Gabbana light blue.
Yeah, you got me hooked on that. It was so funny. You mentioned it once in a conversation, how it
Yeah.
made you feel. And I went, I like that idea. Let me go. And I went and I asked for a sample and I liked it immediately. So I bought it. Now I love it.
Yeah, again, I met a girl, we're still friends 40 years later, and she wore it when we were 14. And so I copied her and I put it on, but it doesn't last on me. So I started keeping a bottle in my car, and now that's all weird, especially because I live in the heat. So I have to throw that one away. But it doesn't last on me. So I am one that I wear different perfumes throughout the season. And I wanted to ask you all if you do that. Do you have like a summer scent versus a winter scent because the temperature is different? But I have 12 different perfume bottles. I counted before I came on, and I still wear one or two. And every once in a while, I pull the third one out. Oh, it's winter and cold. Let me just put this one on. It's
I
weird.
haven't thought about doing that in terms of seasons. That's
Hmm.
that's interesting. But where you
Okay.
are, it's really extreme. But still, where I am, it's pretty extreme too.
I
yeah.
Hmm.
feel like I don't wear the really strong one when it's like over 100 degrees, like, because that would just be too much. I wear them in the winter.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And And to Perry's fact, like, if I'm meeting a new client, I definitely don't wear perfume because I don't know if that person is sensitive or whatever. And I just don't know. I wait and see if I smell them.
Right. And if I'm going to a hospital or if I'm going, to a service of like a formal service where there's a big gathering of people, I wouldn't wear perfume in those cases either. Another thing that is commonly talked about with perfume and scent is that there's like a mystery associated with it or intrigue, like some kind of drawing you in. Kind of, I think you were kind of mentioning that, Don, when you were trying to find out who was wearing jupe. It's like, ooh, that person's drawing me in. And I wonder if that had something to do with it. Like there's a romantic feeling that goes with perfume. Do you think of it as romantic or do you think about it as more just who you are?
Well, I'll start and then someone else can talk. I was taught that you're not supposed to spray enough so that people can smell you in the room. They're supposed to have to be very close to you intimately. Like if you spray it on your neck or your wrist, they're supposed to have to like be near you. So you're not supposed to wear too much. So I think that was kind of like how I was taught to wear perfume. So there is kind of a draw. It's like if I'm gonna let you get close enough to me within like a foot, you're gonna smell me, but like maybe 2 feet away, you're not gonna smell me.
Right, right. Any other
I,
thoughts on that?
yeah, I would think of it in slightly different terms. And I think the best word for that is mood. Like I was talking about my happy perfume makes me happy. I remember the perfume that I started to wear when I was a professional and I was starting to get I got my big job and it was called Navy. And I remember it wasn't so much to like allure anyone. I was in a professional setting, but it was for me to feel, my confident best self. Like this smell makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. I got this, like that. So I think a lot of perfume for me, wearing and the perfume choices I make, even if it's, different months of the year, is for the mood. It's like if it's gray and it's winter and it's cold, I want something to lift me up. If it's, summery and all that, I'm sure you understand. But I just think of it in terms of mood.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Luxury, sometimes perfume's associated with luxury too, like going out
Mhm.
someplace fancy, and certainly ritual as well. I do have perfume with me in the bathroom, like where I'm getting ready, and often I'll put it on in there. But it can definitely symbolize elegance and luxury. I can't imagine going to an event where I was wearing something sparkly, like a fancy event. I would definitely I would want perfume at that sort of thing because I don't know, they might be dancing, maybe at a wedding or something like that. I don't know, but just getting dressed up, it does feel kind of like celebratory too. Would you agree with that? Feel like special?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I have a
Um,
question. Where do you spray it? Bet you everybody sprays it in a different spot.
oh, I spray it on what's this part of your arm called?
Forearm.
Like your wrist, your
Your
forearm.
pulse
Uh-huh.
point. hmm
What'd you say,
Well,
Carrie?
isn't where your pulse is? That's why you put it
Uh-huh.
there. And then
Yeah.
you put it here for pulse, your elbows.
Crystal,
My
where do you
daughter
spray
sprays it in the air and then walks through.
That is a thing nowadays. That is a thing
Apparently.
for them to do that.
Yeah.
I don't use it that much. What I did, I would probably use a spray, and more spray it on my trunk. If I were to look for something now, I would probably want something more a like a lotion, like a really it
Mhm.
may not be a traditional perfume, although perfumes are sold as body lotions. But I would just love a really lovely smelling shea butter or body lotion that made my skin feel as good as it smelled.
Mm, I love that. And there's definitely so many places to buy things like that
Yeah. I
now.
think
Yeah.
the thing I worry about with the perfume, like if you buy, let's say, I don't know, Lauren perfume and you go to the lotion, there's so much alcohol in it, it actually can be drying to your skin.
Good
So I
point.
want something more, we're talking about luxurious, more, with more of a like a cocoa butter, shea buttery kind of a
Right,
base.
like a
Yeah.
rich lotion
Yeah.
that's good for your skin. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So as I was thinking about scents, I thought of a couple of I don't know what might be sentimental scents, but also might be a little weird, but they have really strong memories. And so I'm going to share them, and then I have a feeling you'll come up with some ideas too that maybe you didn't really know that you appreciated. So one of them had to do with my son when we moved him into university. He went to my university. So I was there in the 80s. He was there a few years ago. And as soon as I walked into the building, there was a smell. I didn't know there was a smell. A few decades have gone by, but I was overwhelmed by this smell that I absolutely recognized of being in that dorm. He was in the same dorm that I lived in for a couple of years. That really surprised me. Another smell that you don't really love it when you're really smelling it all the time, but I know I could smell it in a second if I went and grabbed my saxophone case and opened it up, and I would absolutely smell something. It's either in the case or it's the cork on the neck. A fresh reed has a smell. So those smells, I've been playing saxophone since I was 10. So I'm very, very well aware of those scents. Then another one, this is like a crazy one. When we were on a trip to Florida with the kids, they were young. We didn't realize it, but we brought back a lizard on a backpack. So a week after the trip, somebody pointed out, somebody screamed, "There's a lizard running around the bathroom." I'm like, what? So it was right after a big flood. So everything was upside down in the house. It was near that Katrina. It was near that whole time. Anyway, everything was upside down. Things were out over the whole backyard, drying out. Everything was a big giant mess. Everybody's freaking. There's a lizard running around the bathroom. And we ended up keeping that lizard, making a beautiful habitat for the lizard. It was a little house gecko. A couple of weeks later, I look in the tank. There's babies. Now there's 3 babies running around. And I'm like, what? So I had to contact somebody. I found out about parthenogenesis, blah, blah, blah. Those babies had babies. So those lizards lasted 9 years. And house geckos aren't pets. They're very skittish. You could never really clean the tank because you couldn't catch anything. If you really tried, they might drop a tail or they would get out. So there's a smell that goes with lizard tanks. And anybody listening who's been either has their own lizards or helps their kids with lizards knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I was talking about this to somebody, and then sure enough, I found a newspaper article where some mom wrote in talking about this smell. Because you have to mist them. There's a lamp. Like you can imagine, it's not a great smell. Anyway, that smell is something that I smelled for about a decade. You could smell it as soon as you walked in the room. So I'm just wondering if you have those kinds of smells. I've heard a lot of people, especially in Canada, talking about the smell coming from hockey bags. So apparently, nobody in my house ever played hockey, but I've heard enough people talk about these hockey bags. And I've seen gadgets and things that people develop to help with the smell. So smells are very, very, very powerful. Do you have any other smells that pop up for you with some of these weird examples?
I can think of 2 right off the bat. So
Yep.
one is you were talking about parents and the perfumes that they were describing. For me, it's oil of Olay. My mom used that lotion, and she used to joke and call it oil of old age. But besides that, the oil of Olay is always going to be her, no matter what, just right out of the gate. And then I also thought of Palm's cocoa butter because someone told me that it would prevent stretch marks. So I was all about the cocoa butter when I was pregnant, and I still associate. My daughter used it for a little while, and I told her, "I'm sorry, I can't smell that right now. It's just too overpowering. Makes me think of pregnancy." And I'm not even sure that it really worked, but it was. I felt like I was doing something important at the time. That's what I remember.
That's a great story. Is there a recipe or a car smell, anything like that that comes back? I know sometimes bread, like if you just smelling bread tends to bring up a lot of memories or cookies.
I'm sure if I walk into a gym and there's a very strong gym smell, and it's not like body odor bad, it's something about like the plastic, the equipment. Gyms have a very distinct smell. And I've spent so much time in the gym that that would probably do it for me. But I can't think of anything kind of like your gecko story, other than maybe dog food, like dried dog food. I'll never not be able to smell dried dog food.
And then there's the wet dog smell. Nothing like the wet dog smell.
Well, and my daughter, my oldest daughter fosters cats. And I don't know why, but suddenly there was this unspoken rule that they all needed wet food. And they stay in her room, which is on the second floor with all of us. So whenever we're fostering a cat, the whole upstairs basically smells like tuna fish. And I like we gotta transition these cats to dry food. Like this is not how I want to wake up in the morning to smell of cat food.
That's hilarious.
I would say for me, I have a very strong memory of I would go to my grandparents' house on the weekend when I was young, like before I ever had my first boyfriend. And every Friday I'd go and sleep there, Friday and Saturday night. Then I'd come back to my house and my bag would smell like grandma and grandpa's house. Like it had a certain odor. Then as I got older and I had my own house and I'd go visit my parents' house, if I slept there, like I walk into their house and it had a smell. And then I get back home and I could smell their house if I, stayed there for a week on vacation or whatever. So everybody's house kind of has an odor. And I feel like your clothing and stuff picks up that odor from being at somebody else's house, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, and you don't even realize there's an odor a lot of the time until you're out of it and you walk into it.
Yeah, like cooking. You're just like, you're
Yeah.
cooking in your house and then you go outside, you come back and you're like, who passed gas? But it's just you just cooked broccoli 5 minutes ago, girl. You just didn't smell it when you were in the house. This happens on a daily basis when you take the trash out at night. It's like, what smells? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I made chili. So yeah,
And
I'm
then,
highly affected by smell.
and what about coffee?
Oh,
I love the smell of coffee in the morning.
Hmm.
yeah, I just gave it
So
up for
there's,
14 days.
what'd you
So
say, Dawn?
I gave it up for 14 days. So do you know how great it was to smell it on the 15th day?
I
It
bet.
was it was amazing.
So there's something called multisensory anchoring, and scent often gets paired with people, places, events, and even though we may not consciously realize it, our brain links specific smells to emotionally charged moments. And it's called olfactory memory, and they
Mm.
call it a powerful anchor for meaning. And I can really see that from all of the examples that are coming up and things that we're sharing. Especially, well, for me, that university example of walking into that dorm decades later, I didn't even know there was a smell. But as soon as I smelled it, oh my gosh, it was amazing to be back there. It really meant a lot.
Right. So what you're talking about, Susie, makes me wonder about I'm going to be going to my 40th high school reunion this summer. And I just learned that someone has arranged for us to be able to enter our old high school, which has been completely renovated, on a tour. And so you're making me wonder. I wonder if it's going to smell different or new, or if there's going to be some pockets there that will bring me back to when I was in high school there. It'll be very interesting to find out.
Oh, I'm fascinated. And I'm sure as you were thinking about it, you weren't thinking about what it would smell like.
No, not until now.
Well, the band room will smell.
Oh, that's so true. It smells like brass. It smells like clarinets. It smells like, yeah, all of it.
Spit. It sounds like spit.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh. Well, one thing I read is that scent is like a time machine for the soul. And when I read that, I just went, ah, I get it. Because a lot of times I've noticed this on Facebook. I don't know if you've had this experience, but on Facebook, it's so easy to connect with people from childhood. Maybe you haven't been, in the same country for years, and then all of a sudden, somebody has a memory from your childhood that you completely forgot. And this has happened to me a few times. It happened to me with tap dancing. I went tap dancing with a friend in grades, I think it was grade 8, grade 7 and 8. And she had memories that I didn't have at all. And then I kept trying. It's like I was trying to remember. And over the next few weeks, they started to come back a little bit, but I had to really work on it. It was blank. But with scent, I'm finding it much faster.
Mm.
Like you smell it, you're there. You start thinking about the scent, you're there. Have you noticed that? It's like
Oh
really
my God.
quick.
Yeah, yeah. So what you need to do is go find your tap shoes and smell your tap shoes.
I think I found one of them. I'll go
Yeah, because
I'll go
that
dig
made
it
me
out.
think of my ballet shoes. If I smell my point shoes, it's all over. It just takes me right back there. So
Yeah.
yes, the shoes, exactly.
Wow. Hmm. Very interesting. Well, the other thing that I really realized with perfume, though, is it did seem grown up. And one thing I'm noticing now at our age with kids who have a bunch of friends and, hanging with people in their 20s is that things that we thought was a grown-up thing is just part of who they are. They don't think about it that way. And I wonder when they started to think about perfume, if they thought it was grown up like we did. Like, were they wearing real perfumes when they were younger? We were wearing department store colognes and things like that. I just wonder. It's very different. It's a different time. They have so much more access to all kinds of things than we did. What do you think?
Well, I'll speak on it. I have a teenage son. He'd kill me if you heard me talking about him, so hopefully he doesn't hear me. He'll be 17 next month. And this boy invests probably on average about $100 for a bottle of perfume.
Really?
17, single, never had a girlfriend yet. And so he has maybe six different colognes. So if he gets Christmas money, birthday money, whatever, he likes to invest in this perfume. He bought one off of Amazon based upon like TikTok, because that's what they do, that it smelled good. And I don't think you could return it, but he liked it. And so he puts it on. So sometimes in the morning, I just give him a hug and maybe I'll give him a little peck on his neck or something. And I'm like, "Whew, oh, I ate the cologne. Like it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm like going to my bathroom like to spit and do mouthwash because he just sprayed it right before I didn't know. I was just trying to be a loving mom and give him a little peck and I taste it. So he has to have his cologne on.
So it
I'm
means a lot
really
to him
crazy.
at his age. And do you think the
Yes.
influence is coming from friends, from TikTok, from commercials? Like, what do you think?
I think it's because they're raging hormones and, might have a little BO if you don't. So like,
Mhm.
the guys in my family spray it in their arm hair. That's why I asked you where you spray it. So for me, it doesn't last on my neck and I don't really love it on my wrist if I'm going to go out to eat because then you're putting your hand up to your mouth, but
Oh,
yet I
that's
like it on my
interesting.
neck. So I started spraying it in my hair, thinking maybe it'll last longer. I don't know. It's
I
just
have
weird.
sprayed it back here,
Yeah. Somebody
like
told me that's
behind my
good.
neck. I know it's podcast and I didn't explain what I was doing.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
the
was
theory
just
of
touching the
walking
back of my
into
neck.
it. Yeah, it's just like
Mm.
walking into it, I guess, if it's in your hair.
Or when you hug somebody,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So that's what made me feel older. And then one more thing that made me feel older at that time was reading those magazines, everything from Tiger Beat, that did not
Mhm.
make me feel older, to Glamour and 17. Loved
17.
those magazines.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had a subscription to 17.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
totally. And Tiger Beat.
I never heard of that one. Tiger
Tiger
Beat?
Tiger
Beat?
Beat? Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I had that one. I did not a subscription, but whenever I got a hold of it, I loved it.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
get it with a Slurpee at 7-Eleven. It's like all the movie stars.
Yeah.
Tiger?
Yeah,
What?
Tigerbeat. Like, oh yeah,
Oh,
Scott Baio
beat.
was on the cover
Yeah,
all the time.
Fonzie.
Yeah.
Chachi. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Chachi?
yeah,
Scott Baio? Is that Chachi? Oh, okay. I loved him.
yeah. And
What about
Donny
Ethan on
Osmond
my
was on there. Yeah, whoever was anybody back then. And then I would cut things out and I had a scrapbook.
Do you think Fonzie had to wear perfume to get all the girls to kiss him?
No,
No.
way too cool. Way too cool for that. So, on that note, did I miss anything? Is there anything else you want to share thinking back to perfume and memories and what it meant to you to wear perfume as a kid and throughout your life?
I think we covered it.
Amazing. Does it make you motivated to go try a new scent? Bring a new scent
Yes, it
into your
makes me
life? Yeah.
motivated to like maybe wear perfume on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
funny
awesome.
because I barely leave the house, but I still wear it just for me
Yeah.
There you
and my
go.
dog. I don't think Nico cares. But I'll tell you, Nico does sleep in our bedroom and there is a carpet there. And he does stink a little bit. And I do have some linen spray up there, lavender. And I do often spritz even when I'm not in the room just because he's a lot of dog. I
Yeah.
don't mind having a little fresh scent up there. That's for sure. Well, thank you, everybody. This was a lot of fun, a walk down memory lane. It was really fun to talk about perfume. I don't think I've ever spent this much time talking about it and thinking about it. But I guess the last question I have about it is I have a feeling that this scent from junior high that somehow made it all these years from the 70s, it's probably smells bad. It's probably went sour or something by now,
I'm sure
rancid.
perfumes have like kind of like makeup. They have a expiration date.
I should probably just throw it out. Now that we've had this conversation, I think I'll throw this one out.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I had it. I moved it how many times over the years? And then I walked by it. I just looked at it funny one day and I'm like, what is that? Is that an original? I think it is.
Well, I asked AI when perfume dates back to. Do you know that? Did you ask that question?
No,
Okay, it says it dates back thousands of years. The earliest known use was around 4000 BCE in ancient Egypt, and the first recorded perfumer was a woman named Taputi, Tapputi. She was a chemist, and she distilled flowers, oils, and other aromatics to make perfume.
interesting.
That is
Well,
very long time ago. I bet
Chemistry.
you only the wealthy would like have things like that, you know.
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Well, it was fun. I'm very motivated to continue to bring scent into my life. I do like it. And why not? We're worth it. If you like it, explore it. That's what I say. Thanks,
Absolutely.
everybody. It was a
Thanks,
lot of
Susie.
fun. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Susie.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed reminiscing about the role that scent, perfume, cologne, body splash, and lotions have played in your life over the years. We had a lot of fun finding and exploring these memories, that's for sure. Thank goodness for Google, because we did have to look a few things up. So, as you know, I help you stop living like time doesn't matter, because it does. And finding these midlife topics to help connect us is so much fun for me. And I think you'll see that finding these memories and thinking about what it means and thinking about what you want, it's all part of the fun of finding happiness in midlife. So if you're ready to step on the gas and make changes that are important to you, coaching together might be a good idea. It might be right. Now, my focus for you as your midlife coach is to help you waste less valuable time and get on with the good stuff. I care so much about wasting valuable time. This is what regret-proofing your life is all about. Remember, being the queen of your brain domain is the best way to be, and midlife transformation coaching is the fastest way to rediscover joy and purpose after 50. My friend, it is totally time to stop waiting for the right moment and start creating the excitement, joy, and fulfillment that you crave. So if you'd like to see if working together is a good fit for you, even if you're just curious about it, either in my group program, the Women in the Middle Academy, or privately, please reach out to www.talktosusie.com. For show notes and links, go to www.susierosenstein.com and click on the podcast tab and look for episode 422. You'll also see a link there for my other show, The Women in the Middle Entrepreneurs, which is all about the reality of running your business when you're a midlife gal. It's also on iTunes, Spotify, and all the places. Let's do this, ladies. It's time for you to put yourself first, one thought at a time. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.